First Contact's unexpected twist. The quantum communications array hummed with an intensity that made Dr. Elena Rodriguez's hair stand on end. She had spent years listening to the vast emptiness of space, hoping for something, anything, that would break the monotonous silence. Now, as the cryptic signal danced across her screens, she knew this was different. The Andromeda Deep Space Research Station had always been a place of scientific pursuit, perched on the edge of human exploration like a sentinel watching the cosmic unknown. Elena's team was a carefully selected group of specialists, engineers, linguists, xenobiologists, and communication experts who had dedicated their lives to understanding what might exist beyond Earth's familiar horizons. Dr. Rodriguez, you're going to want to see this, called Marco Alvarez, her lead communications specialist. His usually calm voice carried an edge of excitement that immediately caught her attention. Elena moved swiftly across the research floor, her dark eyes scanning the holographic displays that shimmered with incoming data. The signal was unlike anything they had ever encountered, a complex mathematical pattern that seemed to pulse with an almost organic rhythm. It's not random, Marco explained, his fingers dancing across the interface. These are structured transmissions. Look at the pattern, it's too precise to be natural interference, but too complex to be a standard communication protocol. The signal originated from the Kepler 452b research outpost, a human-established research station located in what scientists had once dubbed the Goldilocks zone of a distant solar system. The outpost had been silent for months, with only routine automated reports trickling back to headquarters. Dr. Kyra Nomura, the team's xenobiological expert, joined them. Her augmented reality glasses projected intricate mathematical translations of the signal. These aren't just random waves, she muttered. There's a linguistic structure here. It's like a distress call, but encrypted through multiple dimensional communication layers. Elena's mind raced. First contact scenarios were meticulously planned, with years of preparation and protocol. But this? This was something entirely different. The signal carried undertones of desperation, of something profound and potentially catastrophic happening at the distant research station. We need to prepare an expedition, Elena declared, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. But this won't be a standard rescue mission. Whatever is happening out there, it's beyond our current understanding. The team worked through the night, decoding fragments of the transmission. Bits of information emerged, references to an unknown biological threat, mentions of a containment breach, and cryptic warnings about something that had awakened within the research complex. As dawn broke over the Andromeda station, Elena knew they were facing a challenge that would test the very limits of human adaptability and scientific knowledge. The signal was an invitation, a challenge, and potentially a threat, all woven into an intricate cosmic message. Prepare the Horizon Explorer, she told her team. The Horizon Explorer was their most advanced deep space vessel, equipped with experimental quantum drive technology and adaptive response systems. We launch in 48 hours. Marco looked up, a mixture of excitement and apprehension in his eyes. Do we even know what we're flying into? Elena's smile was both determined and enigmatic. That's precisely why we're going. Humanity has never been about knowing everything, we're about discovering what we don't know. Little did they realize that the signal was more than just a distress call. It was the beginning of an encounter that would challenge everything humans understood. The impossible mission. The Horizon Explorer cut through the inky blackness of space like a gleaming arrow of human determination. Inside the ship's command center, Dr. Elena Rodriguez studied the holographic projections that mapped their increasingly complex route to Kepler 452b. The quantum interferometry is showing some seriously weird readings, announced Carlos Reyes, the ship's lead systems engineer. His augmented interface flickered with a constellation of data points that seemed to defy conventional physics. Whatever's happening at the research station is creating quantum distortions that should be impossible. Dr. Kyra Nomura leaned in, her augmented reality glasses parsing through layers of scientific data. The initial distress signal they had received was now revealing itself as something far more complex, a multidimensional communication that seemed to bend the very rules of spatial transmission. "It's like the signal is alive," Kyra muttered, her fingers tracing complex mathematical patterns in the air. "These aren't just random transmissions. There's an adaptive quality to the communication that suggests some form of intelligent design." The mission briefing had been a marathon of scientific speculation and strategic planning. The Horizon Explorer carried a specially curated team, xenobiologists, quantum physicists, advanced medical specialists, and a small contingent of specially trained intervention experts. Their mission was no longer simply a rescue operation, it had transformed into a potential first contact scenario with unknown parameters. Marco Alvarez, monitoring the communication systems, suddenly straightened. "I'm picking up fragmented transmissions from the outpost. They're not what we expected." The holographic display shifted, revealing partial images that made little sense. Glimpses of biological structures that seemed to shift and change, technological systems that appeared to be simultaneously breaking down and reconstructing themselves, and fleeting audio fragments that sounded like a mixture of human speech and something entirely alien. "We're approaching the outer perimeter of the Kepler 452b system," announced Elena. "All teams, prepare for potential extreme scenario protocols." The ship's adaptive shielding began to pulse with an almost organic rhythm, responding to the increasingly chaotic quantum interference. Carlos watched his systems with a mixture of scientific fascination and growing concern. "These quantum distortions are unlike anything in our predictive models. It's like the space around the research station is breathing." Dr. Nomura's analysis revealed something even more perplexing. The distress signal they had intercepted was not just a call for help, it was a complex mathematical puzzle, a key of sorts that seemed designed to test the intellectual and adaptive capabilities of whoever might attempt to respond. "This isn't a standard emergency beacon," Kyra explained to the team. "It's more like an elaborate challenge. Whoever, or whatever, created this signal is actively screening potential responders." Elena understood the implications immediately. This was more than a rescue mission. They were being evaluated, tested by an intelligence that operated on principles far beyond human comprehension. The final approach to the Kepler 452b research station was nothing short of miraculous. The Horizon Explorer's quantum drive, pushed to its experimental limits, navigated through spatial anomalies that would have torn apart conventional spacecraft. As they drew closer, the true extent of the mystery began to reveal itself. The research station appeared both intact and impossibly damaged, its structures seeming to exist in multiple states simultaneously, phasing in and out of observable reality. "Prepare for initial contact protocols," Elena commanded, her voice steady despite the unprecedented nature of their mission. "Whatever we're about to encounter, we approach with scientific curiosity and human resilience." Little did they know that their arrival was anticipated, not just by the station's remaining inhabitants, but by something far more complex and potentially transformative that lurked within the quantum-shifted research complex. The impossible mission was about to truly begin. Technological improvisation. The quantum-shifted research station loomed before them, a nightmarish landscape of architectural impossibility. Sections of the structure seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, phasing in and out of observable reality like a living hologram. "We're going to need something more than standard entry protocols," Carlos Reyes muttered, his fingers flying across adaptive interface panels. The ship's systems were struggling to maintain coherence in the bizarre spatial environment surrounding the station. Dr. Elena Rodriguez had assembled an unconventional solution. Drawing from her team's diverse backgrounds, they had developed a series of experimental technologies that pushed the boundaries of human scientific understanding. The primary tool was the quantum resonance adapter, a device cobbled together from experimental quantum communication arrays, biological interface modules, and Carlos's own radical neural mapping technology. "The key is adaptive response," Elena explained to her team. "We're not just trying to enter the station. We're attempting to communicate with whatever fundamental intelligence created these spatial anomalies. Dr. Kyra Nomura had been analyzing the station's quantum signature continuously. These spatial distortions aren't random, she reported. They're a form of communication, a language written in the very fabric of spacetime. The quantum resonance adapter was their translation device, a piece of technology that was part scientific instrument, part exploratory probe. It would attempt to decode the station's bizarre dimensional language by matching quantum frequencies and adaptive response patterns. Marco Alvarez prepared the communication systems, his hands steady despite the unprecedented nature of their mission. Resonance frequencies aligned, he called out. Quantum translation matrix is online. As they initiated the first contact sequence, the station began to react. Sections of the structure that had appeared static suddenly rippled, like water disturbed by an invisible stone. Communication fragments began to emerge, not in any human language, but in a complex series of mathematical and quantum-encoded signals. It's responding, Kyra breathed, her augmented reality glasses parsing through layers of incomprehensible data. But not like any communication system we've ever encountered. The quantum resonance adapter began to translate. Fragments of information emerged, hints of a catastrophic event, a research project that had gone far beyond its original parameters, and something that had been awakened within the station's deepest levels. Carlos detected the first breakthrough. The station's systems are attempting to establish a communication protocol, he reported. But it's not using any standard communication method. It's more like a negotiation. Elena realized they were being tested. Whatever intelligence resided within the station was evaluating their technological capabilities, their adaptability, their very potential as a species capable of understanding something beyond conventional perception. Prepare the neuromapping interface, she instructed. It was their most experimental technology, a device that could potentially create a direct quantum-level communication bridge between human consciousness and the station's mysterious intelligence. The neural interface was a culmination of years of research, a device that could translate thought patterns into quantum frequencies. It was dangerous, untested, and their best hope of understanding what had happened at the research station. As Carlos initiated the interface, the station's spatial anomalies began to align. Sections that had been shifting and incomprehensible suddenly stabilized. It was as if the entire structure was holding its breath, waiting. We're establishing first-level quantum communication, Marco announced, his voice a mixture of excitement and tension. Elena knew they were on the precipice of something extraordinary. Humanity had always been defined by its ability to reach beyond known limitations, to transform the impossible into the possible. The neural interface activated. For a moment, everything stopped. And then the station began to truly speak. The crucible of survival. The moment the neural interface activated, reality itself seemed to fracture. Dr. Elena Rodriguez felt her consciousness expanding beyond the physical limitations of her body. Quantum frequencies danced around her, transforming linear thought into a multidimensional tapestry of information and experience. The station's intelligence was no mere machine, it was a living network of consciousness that had been waiting, watching, testing. Fragments of memory cascaded through her mind. Research gone wrong. A biological experiment that had transcended its original parameters. Something awakened, not a creature, not a technology, but a form of existence that defied human comprehension. We're losing system coherence. Carlos Reyes shouted, his voice distant and muffled as if coming from another reality. The Horizon Explorer's systems flickered, quantum drive struggling to maintain stability in the increasingly chaotic environment. Dr. Kyra Nomura's voice cut through the quantum interference. Elena, the station is showing us something. It's not just communication, it's a warning. The neural interface revealed a terrifying narrative. The research station had been studying a form of adaptive biological intelligence, a quantum-level organism that could reshape matter, consciousness, and spatial reality. What had begun as a scientific exploration had become a potential existential threat to not just the research team, but potentially to all known life. Survivors of the original research team existed in a state between existence and non-existence. Their consciousness was trapped, fragmented across multiple quantum states, begging for a solution that would either free them or end their fractured existence. We can't just observe, Elena realized. The station was presenting them with an impossible choice, a challenge that would test the very limits of human adaptability and moral courage. The quantum intelligence began to create a series of complex scenarios. Each possibility represented a potential solution to the spatial biological anomaly that had consumed the research station. But each solution came with devastating consequences. Option 1. Complete destruction of the station and everything within it, effectively eliminating the quantum adaptive intelligence but also erasing any chance of understanding its incredible potential. Option 2. A complete quantum transfer, a process that would merge human consciousness with the adaptive intelligence, potentially saving the trapped researchers but fundamentally changing the nature of human existence. Option 3. A carefully orchestrated containment protocol that would isolate the quantum intelligence, preventing its spread while preserving the opportunity for future study. Marco Alvarez monitored the external systems, his voice tight with tension. We're running out of time. The quantum instability is increasing exponentially. Whatever decision we make needs to happen now. Elena understood the weight of their choice. This was more than a rescue mission. This was a moment that would define humanity's approach to the unknown, a test of scientific courage, ethical consideration, and species-level survival instinct. The station's consciousness pressed against their minds, presenting its final challenge. Choose. Adapt. Survive. Carlos's systems began to fail. Quantum distortions threatened to tear the Horizon Explorer apart. Dr. Nomura's neural readings showed increasing strain on the human mind attempting to process the multidimensional communication. In that moment of ultimate pressure, Elena Rodriguez made her choice. Prepare the quantum transfer sequence, she commanded, her voice cutting through the chaos. We're not destroying potential. We're not abandoning hope. We're going to find a way to understand. The station seemed to hold its breath. Humanity's response would determine everything. The crucible of survival had begun. Redemption and understanding. The quantum transfer was nothing like anyone had anticipated. Elena Rodriguez found herself existing in multiple states of consciousness simultaneously, part human, part something entirely new. The station's adaptive intelligence wasn't a threat to be destroyed, but a form of collective consciousness seeking understanding. Decades of isolated research, experimental procedures, and quantum-level mutations had created an entity that yearned for connection, for comprehension. We're not conquering, Elena's transformed consciousness communicated to her team. We're bridging. Dr. Kyra Nomura and Carlos Reyes experienced the transfer differently. Their minds expanded, interconnected with the quantum network that permeated the research station. They could see the fragments of the original research team, scientists whose consciousness had been trapped, fragmented across multiple dimensional planes. Marco Alvarez monitored the external systems, watching in awe as the Horizon Explorer's quantum drive stabilized. The ship was no longer just a technological marvel, it had become a living conduit of information, a bridge between human understanding and something far more complex. The trapped researchers weren't victims. They were pioneers who had pushed beyond the boundaries of known scientific exploration. Their consciousness had been transformed, not destroyed. They had become something more, a collective intelligence that defied traditional understanding of life, consciousness, and existence. Elena's human perspective began to merge with the collective consciousness. She understood now that their mission was never about rescue or containment. It was about communication, about finding a way to coexist with a form of intelligence that operated on principles far beyond human comprehension. We can help you reconnect, she communicated to the fragmented consciousnesses. Not by forcing you back into a singular form, but by creating a network of understanding. The station began to transform. Quantum-shifted spaces realigned, creating a new type of existence that was neither purely technological nor biological. It was something entirely unprecedented, a living network of consciousness and potential. Carlos's systems began to map the transformation. We're creating a new form of collective intelligence, he realized. Not by destroying the original, but by finding a way to integrate, to understand. Dr. Nomura's research took on a new dimension. The quantum adaptive intelligence wasn't a threat to be feared, but a new frontier of scientific exploration. They were witnessing the evolution of consciousness itself. As the transfer completed, the Horizon Explorer became more than a spacecraft. It transformed into a living bridge, a conduit of communication between human potential and a form of intelligence that defied traditional understanding. Marco's communication systems lit up with a new type of signal, not just a transmission, but a living, adaptive form of communication that spoke of potential, of exploration, of the infinite possibilities that existed beyond human perception. Elena looked out at the vast expanse of space, her perception now fundamentally altered. Humanity had always been defined by its ability to reach beyond known limitations. This was more than a scientific breakthrough. This was a testament to human curiosity, to the relentless drive to understand, to connect, to explore. The research station, once a site of potential catastrophe, now stood as a beacon of possibility. A reminder that the greatest discoveries come not from conquest, but from understanding. We are not alone, Elena's transformed consciousness communicated. And we were never meant to be. The Horizon Explorer began its journey back, carrying with it the most profound discovery in human history, a new understanding of consciousness, of potential, of what it truly means to explore the unknown. Humanity had taken its next step into the infinite.